love lives here.
All right, it's so great to see all of you. And here at Centers for Spiritual Living this year, we are working with the theme of Living Everyday Wonder, and the theme for April is Living Everyday Wonder in the area of creativity, because as we are living everyday wonder, we recognize that there are many aspects to our lives, and one of those aspects, one of those areas of our lives is creativity. So all month long, we are exploring this idea of creativity. And we began the month with saying yes to the yes, where we are saying yes to your expression of spirit, because you are the emanation, impartation, individualization of the one life, uniquely expressing itself through it as you. Yes? Yes, good. All right, and then last week we talked about how sometimes we will get in our own way, or we will allow those fears that we may have lingering, or we may have the doubts, or somebody may say something and that sends us into kind of a spiral, and we limit ourselves and we make ourselves perhaps smaller, and we're not fully expressing our yes. We're not fully expressing because we're in some kind of a fear state, if you will, or some kind of a limitation state. And we got past that last week. We talked about it last week of just doing it anyway. Doing what you do, being what you be, and expressing life, because you know what? Nobody really cares anyway, and they're not really paying that much attention to you. They might pay attention to you for a few minutes, but then they go back to their own life and their own business, and you don't wake up every morning thinking, "Oh, what is Reverend Jeffrey doing this morning?" You don't. And I don't wake up thinking about, "Ooh, what are you doing this morning?" either, right? We wake up and we have a tendency to live our lives from that place of, like, it's not necessarily self-centeredness, but I mean, you're fully present when you're fully present with yourself. When you're living here, right in here, what's happening out there is like, oh, it happens, and then we move on. So, somebody says, oh, I really don't like your stick figure drawing. Okay, whatever, moving on, right? So we live that place from the ish. So the ish is doing it, writing-ish, poems-ish, art-ish, drawing-ish, painting-ish, that you don't need it to be perfect, that you don't have to be this perfection or having it be perfect, because when we think of it as having to be perfect, frequently we will never start the project, we won't ever start the idea, we won't ever move off of our meditation cushion if we're waiting for something to be right and perfect and just absolutely 100% it's going to succeed, and then we will start. No, what we do is we live in the ish. We recognize that it doesn't have to be perfect, but that the fact that we're taking action moves us forward. The fact that we're actually doing, the fact that we're actually expressing, because if we keep waiting to express our fullness and our wholeness and expressing the love that we are, if we just wait and withhold that, we never share it, and then we live a much diminished life. We live small. Manini, as we call it in Hawaii, the Manini life, the tiny life. And we also established that fear is boring, right? Everybody's got it. You can buy it at the corner drugstore. You can buy it at the corner gas station. We all got it. Fear is boring. So why not live a more enthusiastic, more exciting, more joyous life? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay. Good. So today we're rising and we're shining. Yes? All right. So we believe here at Centers for Spiritual Living that heaven is within us, right? We believe that heaven is within us and that we experience heaven to the degree that we are conscious of it. Does this sound true to you? Does this sound familiar to you? Right? All right, so Jesus, the master teacher, when teaching the disciples to pray, he says, "Our Father who art in heaven." And then he goes on to talk about where is heaven. Heaven is within, right? Heaven is within. So if our Father is in heaven, or Spirit, God, whatever you choose to call the divine, Father, by the way, in Hebrew is Abba. Abba is a term of endearment. Abba basically means beloved. It's kind of like saying uncle or auntie when you're talking to somebody whom you respect that may or may not be a blood relation, right? It's a woman's like, hey, auntie, or hi, uncle. It's a term of endearment. It's a term that's that way. That's what Abba is. Abba is that it means father, or Amma is mother. So it means father. And so it's a term of endearment. So we're like, hey, yeah, hey, dad, hey, uncle, hey, mama, hey, mamacita, right? Hey, auntie, same idea. So where does that energy, where does that spirit reside? That spirit resides in heaven. And Jesus, the master teacher, teaches that heaven is within. So therefore, if heaven is within and spirit is residing in heaven, then spirit is residing where? Within each one of us. In fact, we live, move, breathe, and have our being in it, and it in, through, and as us. Yes. So there is this divine urge, there is this creative urge, there is this spirit within that is just wanting to create, just wanting to experience itself, just wanting to bring forth its unique expression as you and as me. You see, spirit provides the idea, but we as human beings, you as a human being, provide the garden. So spirit's providing the seed, if you will, and you then provide the garden. And when the seed is implanted in the garden, and the gardener, which is also you, tend to the seed with love and care, and the seed is expressing itself as love itself. When those two things come together, then what is happening is that exchange of love is then creating and co-creating a beautiful individualized expression of love itself. And after all, what is our purpose in life? To be the power and the presence of love made manifest, right? We've already established that. So you don't have to go looking for your purpose. You don't have to navel gate. It's like, oh, what's my purpose? I don't know my life purpose. Your life purpose is to be the power and the presence of love. That simple. And how we express that, and that seed within us, and how that seed wants to grow, whether it's a pumpkin seed or a rose seed or a mighty redwood seed, whatever that seed looks like, that seed is the seed of love, and that seed is wanting to express itself individually through each one of us. We provide the garden. We tend to it, and we allow it to express through and as each one of us. The Gospel of Thomas is a Gnostic gospel, meaning it's not canonized, meaning it's not in the first four Gospels. Okay, anyway, the Gospel of Thomas, in the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus says at line 70, he says this, that if you bring forth that which is within you, that which is within you will save you. If you don't bring forth that which is within you, that which you don't bring forth will destroy you. Do I need to say that again? Yes. Yeah, okay, all right. There were some no's and there were some yeses, so we'll just go with the yeses. All right, so if you bring forth that which is within you, that which is within you will save you. We'll break that down in a minute. And if you don't bring forth that which is within you, what you don't bring forth will destroy you. Right? So what is this that we're not bringing forth? So what keeps us from bringing this forth? So what is within us that we're bringing forth? We're bringing forth the power and the presence of love, right? That individualized expression, that's what we're bringing in. So what is it that keeps us from bringing that forth? What keeps us from bringing that forth is what we've already talked about last week. We talked about fear. We talked about frustration. We talked about doubt. We talked when we feel separate or apart from, or we're worried about other people's thoughts or what have you, then we tend to shrink down. We have a tendency to go within, and we have a tendency to hold on, and we're not going to express. And so what happens when creativity goes unexpressed? What happens when emotions or feelings go when they are repressed? What happens when your truest self, your truest nature goes unexpressed? How do you live? How do you feel? If you're withholding your essence, withholding your truest self. I don't know about you, but I feel small. I feel icky. I feel sad. I feel angry. I feel resentful. Any of these ring a bell? When you don't live, when you can't live, you feel like you can't live your most authentic self, your highest self. There's this withdrawal, and we turn within and begin to cannibalize or begin to those ideas, those thoughts, that not enoughness, that smallness, that separation, that not good enoughness begins to have a deeply negative impact on our mental health, our psychological health, our emotional health, our physical health. Yeah? We've seen it, we've experienced it. I know of one beloved, all he wanted to do in his life was to be a park ranger at a national park. And if not a national park, then he loved nature so much. If not a national park, then a state park or even a county park. It really didn't matter. He really wanted to do that. That was his deep call, deep passion to share his gifts with the earth and with the world, and to teach others about the geography and the plants, the animals, the flora and the fauna of these parks. And instead, he held it back. He didn't express it. He did something else. He did the shoulds. He did what society told him he should do. He should have this good job. He should have this stability. He should provide for his family. He should. And he listened to his shoulds. Rather than listening to and nurturing and bringing forth that truest essence, bringing forth that truest passion. And eventually, it was too late. Because of the failure to express who he truly was and what he truly wanted to be and how he truly wanted to live his life fully and completely, he lost the ability to express. The ability to express first with words. Then he lost his ability to express with his body. And so that which he did not express, that which he did not bring forth, that love, that passion, that life, that light that was seeking expression, he didn't bring it forth. And ultimately, because of not bringing that life forth, he was destroyed in physical form. And yet now he is freely expressing wholeness and perfection in a whole other way. And yet I think of what he missed out and what we missed out and what the world missed out. Because that creative urge was just so powerful and just moving so so frequently and so fluidly, and just wanting and pushing up against and wanting to break free, wanting to break out. And you close off. Is this a way to live? Is this a way to be? Is this what we are being called forth to be in this time, in this place, in this existence? We are called forth to be the power and the presence of love, yes? We are called forth to express this love, yes? We are called forth to express this love as an individualized expression of it, yes? So, beloveds, what is it that you love to do? What is it that you like to do, that you would love to do? What is it that you would do even so that it really doesn't matter? Failure and success don't even enter the picture. What is that? What is that thing? What is that love? What is that thing that you are so devoted to that it really doesn't matter? I am so on fire with this. What is that? What is it that you're so in love with, that you're so passionately devoted to, that it doesn't matter what challenges come up? It doesn't matter that you stand in resilience, you stand and perseverance. What is that thing? Think about that thing, that way of being, that way of expressing. For if you stand in faith, you stand in perseverance, you stand in resilience, what you're really standing in, you're standing in devotion, you're standing in love. What you're really standing in then, beloveds, is you're standing in faith. And it is that faith that carries you forward. It is that love that carries you forward, regardless of what else is going on in your life, regardless of what else may be happening out in the world. It is that faith that you trust, that you love it, and that you trust it so deeply, so passionately, so intensely that it does not matter. Because you will move forward. Because when you love that deeply, Spirit goes before you and prepares the way. Spirit makes the crooked places straight. It doesn't matter what else is going on. Because Spirit has this urge, as this divine urge that is wanting to express through you. And all we have to do is say, yeah. Yeah. And step forward in faith, step forward in love, and allow. As the song says, we rise up again and again and again and again. We rise up, we rise up, we rise up. And we continue to be called higher. Life isn't without challenges, but you are supported through it. Because when we say yes to that, when we let go of the fear, we say the yes, we are pulled forward. We come into alignment with it. We've talked about this before. We come into alignment with a high idea for our lives. And we live under grace rather than living in fear. We live a faith rather than fear. Yes? Yeah. So Easter, beloveds, is not about the crucifixion. It's not about who jabbed a spear and who pounded nails or anything like that. That's not what Easter is about. Easter is not about the pain. It's not about the suffering. Easter is about the resurrection. Easter is about rolling away the stone on the tomb. It's about dying to the old and rising to the new, rising to a new way of life, rising to a new way of being. Be healed by the renewing of your mind. It is about moving. It is the celebration of the beauty and the strength that comes from or comes with, that comes alongside of the challenges that we may have experienced. It is a letting go of the separation. It is a letting go of the fear. It is a letting go of the doubt. It is a letting go of the worry. And it is stepping fully, wholly, and perfectly into remembering who we are. It is a remembrance and it is a reminder. The story itself is a reminder of who we are. That we are spirit in flesh. That our lives are governed and guided by Spirit itself, that the Spirit lives within each one of us, is expressing within and as each one of us. It is a reminder of who we are and what is capable, or what we are capable of when we remember that. It is an overcoming of the littleness and the separation. It is an opportunity to stop crucifying ourselves and others. Somebody else needs the wood. Stop it. It's time to stop that. It's an idea of stopping that and stepping more fully into who we are. And when we remember to do this, when we awaken to this, when we remind ourselves, when we remember the who of who we are, that is so prevalent in this Easter story, then, beloveds, we too, you too, can work wonders. You too are then the light of the world. You too are then the spreading, healing presence of love in the world. You too, you too, you too. So your resilience, your perseverance, your persistence, your faith, your resilience is your brilliance. Your resilience is your brilliance. You are the light of the world. You cannot hide your light under a bushel. Right? It can't be hidden within a tomb. A tomb is nothing more than a womb. It's an opportunity for gestation, for this idea, this high idea of light, of love, to germinate, to gestate, and to come forth, to birth that into a new. You are the light. Let your brilliance shine. Shine, shine, shine. And be glorious in it. So rise this day and every day. Every day is Easter. Every moment is Easter. When we rise to that. Shine. Shine. Around. It's good to have Ken back. Welcome home, Ken. I recognize that in the beginning, I know it's a divine expression of love, it's a divine expression of wholeness, perfection, joy, peace, bliss, harmony, order. It is the order of the spheres. It is the wisdom of the ages. It is the peace that passes all understanding. And it is love, sweet, unconditional love that is the self-givingness of the divine through and as itself to all of creation, as all of creation. And I know that the divine is not limited by its creation. It is its creation and so much more. It is infinite and eternal, limitless, deathless. It is life itself. And so I recognize that I am one with this one, that the right where I am, the power and the presence of love is, the power and the presence of life is, the power and the presence is. In fact, the isness is it. It's just the isness, the allness, the oneness, the fullness. That is the totality of life itself. It is the totality of my being. It is the totality of all of life, of all of creation, of everyone gathered here this day. It is spirit made manifest. It is spirit in full, glorious, magnificent expression, its light and being glorious, magnificent, being itself as each and every one. And I know that each and every one is one with this one. Each and every one is not only the garden, but the one who plants the seed, the one who nurtures the seed, the one who brings the seed forth, that brings life forth, expresses life fully, wholly, and completely in its greatest, most glorious expression of itself. This is who each one is. And so I speak my word for all those gathered here this day. I speak my word, knowing that life itself is moving and freely, joyfully, joyously, that we simply let go of anything that we have perceived to stand freedom, this full flow. We simply let that fall back to nothingness, which that came. We die to the old beliefs of separation. We die to the old beliefs of fear. We die to the old beliefs of worry and doubt. They have no place here. And there is no law that maintains and sustains them, so they simply fall back into the nothingness. They fall back into the nothingness. And as they do, we open out a way for the imprisoned splendor that we've been holding within. We allow it to open, and we open out a way, and we experience the glory, the magnificence, the joy, the passion, beauty of love and life itself. And in so doing, we live a life of grace. We live a life of perfection. We live a life of wholeness. For we are perfect, whole, and complete, just as we are. We don't need to add anything. Nothing needs to be taken away. We simply are the beauty and perfection of the divine. And so we live in alignment with this. We live in alignment with our true purpose of expressing and being love of life itself. Oh, and how good it is. How joyful it is. And so on this Easter Sunday, we awaken. We rise up. And we shine. And be glorious. And so I give thanks. In deep gratitude for this understanding, Greek dad, in deep gratitude for this knowing, in deep gratitude for this love and life. And I release this word, knowing it is done.
Love.